Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Master of Orion. Now, unfortunately, there's another space pirate base somewhere, and we have a space pirate fleet coming, but we moved our fleet to intercept, and it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. We had something finished on Ptolemy 2, which was the Marine Barracks, so we're going to soon be working on the fleet so we can get our military production going. We might as well queue something else up. And currently, we have a Marine Barracks. How many Marines do we have in this base? We currently have 4 of a possible 10. And we have a new Marine, I'm going to guess, in 5 turns. So should I just keep constructing fleas? I'm going to say yes to that. Let's move over to Gata Prime here, continuing on its construction. Now, Sol Prime actually has less capacity for Marines, but it's full up right now. So more than likely, we're going to want to build the troop transport here. And we're going to have that tech in 5 turns. So just have to keep an eye on that. And what was our construction after this flea? Should we... Yeah, I think we should continue to push the fleas out at Ptolemy 2 for right now. Alright, I think that's everything that we need to do for this turn. Alright, so this fleet needs orders. We'll just tell it to guard for now until the pirate fleet comes. And the turn. Just continuing to keep an eye on the enemy fleet here. We'll have another destroyer in 1 turn, which should push our fleet strength over here high enough to be able to combat the Mershon. Now, they keep upping their own strength to go along with that. Now, I see that their combined strength over Fieris is very powerful. We might not actually be able to combat Fieris just yet, but we can, at the very least, jump into the warp point and see if we can bait them into a combat. But that's a few turns away. Alright, so we have our Wasp. I'm going to be sending it this way, because I want the main fleet strength to be on this direction. And we're going to go ahead and combat here. I'm just going to simulate it. It's just 3 pirate raiders. This is overwhelming force against it. Yeah, they barely did any damage to me. Go ahead and send our fleet back to military outpost. It'll take them a turn to get there, but at least we have it queued up. Alright, so one thing I might have to keep in mind, though, is that this space factory will be vulnerable in this position if we move the fleet away, because space pirate fleets will probably keep coming. And it'll take them 10 turns to complete the military outpost, so that's something we have to keep in mind. Alright, so we completed that Wasp. What is currently being constructed? We're working on this Colonial Revenue Service. Not really that big of a priority for us out of all the things we could construct, but we're just kind of buying time until we can work on the transport. Maybe we can queue up some of the building or the production for that project. In any case, we have a couple turns before that happens, and in that time, we will have at least one of the fleas completed over here. Now, I don't want to move in this fleet to engage this military outpost until I know it's safe to do so, because if I send this fleet over, yes, the military outpost is undefended at the moment, but in the same turn I arrive, they can show up and wipe out my fleet. And the combined strength of this fleet is stronger than the combined strength of this fleet. So, you have to keep that in mind. Let's go ahead on to the next turn. Alright. Let's move this guy on over. And which fleet is telling me... Oh, okay, we have the new fleet, which we're just going to send over here. Alright, so we have 2 buildings. Well, technically we have a building and a ship produced. Alright, we're not far away from producing the star base. Should we prioritize that over the Colonial Revenue Service? I'm going to say yes. Matter of fact, we should probably prioritize the Marine base as well. Okay, we're 1 turn away from being able to work on our transports. And we have our next fleet under production. All right. Research is completed.
Our scientists have made a new discovery.
So what is the global DNA scanner does? It doesn't really tell me right here. And the troop transport, which is the most important element of this whole thing. Let's choose our research. I want to look at the tech tree, though. So we wasted a lot of time unlocking, I think, more research than we needed to over here. What else do we want to unlock? So the computer will improve our energy weapon accuracy. We have the scanner, and then we have cloning center, which gives us population growth and death spores. These will only take 4 turns to complete, or we can do this, which allows us to build a neutron collider, which gives us production. We can do a mass driver, which is a new weapon, and we get a ground combat weapon, I'm going to assume. Or we can do advanced engineering, which gives us a new ship class and new armor, as well as a space elevator, which reduces production cost for ships, which all of that sounds really, frankly, awesome. And then we have fusion weapons, which we either get a fusion beam or a fusion bomb. I'm thinking about going with skipping over electronics and going straight into advanced engineering. And the reason I'm thinking about doing that is because of the new ship class, as well as the better armor, I think is better than just a little bit of accuracy for our energy weapons. Now, this allows us to get other research in the future, for instance, better torpedoes, which you might argue is a good thing for our empire. But I kind of like the idea of cheaper ships. It'll get our production up, and we'll be able to outproduce the Mershon. So I'm going with this research.
Sorry for the interruption, President.
All right, troop transports carry Marines from the colony they are built at where they are most needed, either to quickly reinforce one of our colonies or to invade an enemy. Select a colony with a garrison Marines and build a troop transport. Okay, it's going to load up the Marines automatically. All right. I don't know how many Marines each transport grabs, though. So let's go ahead and immediately produce a troop transport here. Now, currently, the balance of power, I would say, is still in the enemy's hands. Unfortunately, it looks like the production into the revenue service did not transfer over to the troop transport. It just kind of stayed on the revenue service, which means it's going to continue to be cheaper, but maybe not necessarily what we're looking for. Should we rush the troop transport production? Perhaps. That only really takes 1 turn off of it, but still good progress, I guess. And then we could rush by it next turn. All right, and what do we have constructing here? Another flea. And in Gate of Prime, we have our starbase being worked on. All right, so currently our strength over here is 1,300, and our strength over here is going to be a little over 2,000. They grabbed another destroyer. They seem to be keeping pace with me militarily. I'm starting to think that maybe making a move is a good call. I just don't like the idea of being overwhelmed in one area and not being able to use the full strength of our fleet. My thinking here is if we send this fleet, which is under strength, so it's going to be a little over 2,200. And over here, they have 2,400, so they have a 200 advantage. Now, we've won battles that were disadvantaged before. We have another 1,300 over here, so overall, we have a majority. But to utilize it, we're going to have to bring it over here to the military outpost, destroy the military outpost, and then move in. And if this fleet gets wiped out, that move will have severe consequences, as they will be able to then wipe out our secondary fleet, which took us a long time to build up. In any case, we have fleet needing orders, which is just going to be to guard. And we will continue. We have 2 turns here before this ship is here. We'll continue our military production over here, which will be ready in 2 turns. We can send a fleet over here, which will increase our strength. Now, this fleet is predominantly fleas because that's all the production we're doing over in Ptolemy 2. All right. So, fleet needs orders. Want to build military outpost. Gonna take 10 turns. The other thing I have to consider is keeping a military presence with the space factory because of the possible arrival of space pirates. A lot of things to consider. Let's go ahead and progress to the next turn. All right, so we have another flea produced. Send that over. And honestly, I'm considering continuing with flea production here, as that seems like the best call. We have 20% pollution here. Probably we're going to want pollution cleanup over here at some point. Probably put it here in order. And this pollution continues to go down, even though we are continuing to produce things very quickly. Should we rush by? I thought, I actually thought about rush buying, and I forgot. I think I'm going to put the Wasp up. Honestly, I think if we lose our fleet, as long as we cause casualties to the enemy fleet, I think it's recoverable just because of 3 planets being able to produce ships in the near future. And we might as well continue with the Wasp production, although we're going to have, in 6 turns, we're going to have a cruiser possibility here. And I think that cruiser might tip the balance that we've got going here. Produce 2 scouts. Interesting. All right. Now, considering that we're going to have this built in 2 turns, I'm thinking that we need to send the main fleet, which is now just shy of the power of the enemy. We've got 4 turns to arrive. Here, this would take 2 turns. So we might as well hold off until this fleet is 2 turns away. Or maybe even wait until it's 1 turn away. That's why this fleet arrives a turn late. That way they can't choose the 2 battles and choose the one where we're weaker. Because one dynamic of this game so far is, unfortunately, the fact that you cannot retreat. And we had a fleet production. How's our pollution here? It's only up, it's 1%, so that's no big deal. Do we continue fleet production, or do we build our own troop transport? I think we build our own troops transport. as we don't know exactly how many Marines the troop transports are going to grab. All right, we've set ourselves on a course for conflict. Let's progress.
And now, the news.
It is a dog-eat-dog galaxy out there as the Sakra Brood battle against the Cylon Quanta for control of the galaxy.
All right, well, hopefully the Sakura put up a good fight, because it looks like the Cylons are leading the pack. As a matter of fact, we can actually check that. It's not something that I've actually done here. So, path to victory. Oh, okay, so we only get... It looks like we get an idea of everybody. So we're leading by a large margin. We have excellent victory, so our overall points, we have 7,000, which compared to the other ones... It looks like we're leading. As a matter of fact, the Mershan are the second most scoring empire, which is odd considering they only have one planet, and we know that the Cylons have 5 at this point, I believe. I wonder if this is accurate, or it's just what we know considering... Like, maybe these are guesstimates? Like, this actually looks weird to me. The fact that the Cylons would have 5 planets and yet underscore us doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Conquest victory, we have 4,000 points versus the 3,000 points of the Mershan. So I'm guessing this is military strength, and they're keeping very close to us. As I said, I think they're cheating. But in any case, there we have. And there is no diplomatic victory currently because there is no Galactic Council. All right. So... we know that they're at war. We don't know where they are, though, so that doesn't really particularly matter. I'm going to tell these guys to guard. Now, once this tech comes, we can start building fleets, and because they're going to be cheaper, I think that will give us quite a bit of an advantage. One thing I didn't really pay attention to, though, is do we have other buildings available now? Not that I can tell. With some of those research that we were doing, I wasn't really paying attention to see if we got any new buildings. All right, let's just continue. We don't have any space pirates that I'm aware of coming.
Excuse me, President.
All right, so we have the troop transport is ready. Once you obliterate an enemy's fleet and defenses orbiting a colony, it's time to deploy our Marines for a ground assault to complete the invasion. All right, that's... easy enough. Does it tell us how many Marines they have? Is this the Marines, or what does this number mean? I just see 4 that. Is that Marines? Well, we can check the planet. Yeah, they have 4 Marines, so it's 4 Marines per transport port. And we have one working on that we're working on at Ptolemy 2 here, which has 5 Marines available. Now, the rate that you get Marines back is pretty slow. It looks like 5 turns per Marine. So if we were to build another troop transport, that would more or less drain Sol Prime entirely. All right, so currently we're working on a Wasp 3. I think I want to continue with that production, but I'm also going to queue up another troop transport for now. There it is. And I'm going to put that in front of this building, which again... not a priority right now. And we're 4 turns away from being able to build a cruiser. So should we put the troop transport ahead of the Wasp? Because if we do that, we'd be able to build a cruiser immediately after that tech comes. So yeah, we'll do that. Matter of fact, we might be able to rush by the troop transport. Whether or not we'd want to waste resources on rush buying a troop transport, I'm not really sure. Let's go ahead and move the troop transport, though, over to this fleet, as this is supposed to be the follow-up fleet if this fleet is successful. At least that's the idea. All right, everything is looking good otherwise. So let's go to the next turn. All right, so they're coming to meet us at this warp point. which is kind of what we want. We're 2 turns away. I'm thinking we go for their military outpost. Gonna take 2 turns. If we go to their military outpost now, they might redirect, which we don't want them to do. So I say we hold off 1 turn, which was the plan in the beginning. We have another fleet completed, so we might as well get that over here anyway, which gives us time to consolidate our forces. Now this fleet is looking at 1,800 strength. So I'm pretty happy with the follow-up fleet. Let's look at our production here. So we have a troop transport that we're working on. And then... I think we can just work on this building after that. Hopefully, military victory will be assured after this puzzle. Now, I don't know how likely we're going to be able to take their planet. Their planet might have enough defenses that we will be thwarted in that attempt. Threatening fleet. Alright, so I was just hoping that there were no space pirates. This is just a scout. We'll obliterate that the second it enters our space. We'll do it with the military outpost, though. I'm not going to do it with my fleet because I don't want them being delayed a turn. So let's end the turn. Alright. As long as they haven't increased their strength, that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and send this fleet to their military outpost and use... Huh. Looks like I cannot attack their scouts. I wonder if scouts are immune to military outposts. Because you can't select a military outpost. All you can do is this, which you only have a choice of scrapping it. You can't actually attack with it. Alright, that's fine. And our troop transport will be there soon. And as long as there's no space pirates coming, I'm going to assume that this space factory is going to get done with the military outpost before the space pirates show up. You know what? I think I messed that up. These guys could... Oh, they could come on this turn, I think. Let's just make sure that that happens. There we go. Can we attack? We can. Let's get this over with. And... here we go. So we have our destroyers versus a lot of their destroyers. We have 3. We have 5 ships. They have 5 ships. That's interesting that the combat strengths were so close, considering. Alright, now the goal here, even if we lose, is to wipe out as many of their ships as possible. Alright, let's go ahead and pause it here. Now, we have a bunch of asteroids in the way. I want a clear shot, I think. I think they outgun me as far as missiles and everything go. I don't think I'm going to win this, honestly. So, let's try and take out their stronger ships. I don't want the ships firing while we have these asteroids in the way. So, I'm actually going to back up. And if they fire with the asteroids in the way, that's fine for me. Alright, we took out one of their ships. Alright, it's time to engage. Alright, this is looking ugly. Alright, we did not focus down this one ship. Alright, we killed 3 of their ships, which is honestly a massive defeat. But I think that's good overall, though, because our fleet that's following up we'll be at an advantage. At least in theory. At least I hope I'm correct in that. Well, in any case, that was a defeat, and I kind of realized once the matchup was there that we were close in points, but points aren't where it's at. Where it's at is the actual strengths of your ship. They had more missile firepower than I did, and I think that's where their success came from. So I was able to actually take some missile barrages. Now, in theory, if I had spread out my damage a little bit better, I might have been able to actually come a lot closer to winning than I did. And that's just something that I think I'm going to have to get with experience. But in any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. This is a Mouse Gunner signing out.